Evening. I'm Erin Boucher, Chairperson of the Shrewsbury School Committee, and welcome to our meeting for Wednesday, September 24th. Tonight's meeting is broadcast live on Selco, channels 29 and 329, and streamed live on Shrewsbury Media Connection's website. Thank you to Liz Poplowski and Shrewsbury Media Connection for their assistance with our broadcast. Tonight's meeting will be rebroadcast on SMC's website and their YouTube channel between now and our next scheduled meeting. The first item on the agenda is public participation. Tonight, we have not received a request to speak at public participation. Public participation is available to all residents who would like to address the committee regarding concerns of policy, budget, and the performance of the superintendent. In the future, if anyone would like to speak at public participation, they should contact the chairperson in advance of the next scheduled school committee meeting. The next item on our agenda tonight is chairperson and members' reports. Colleagues, anything to share this week? Mm-hmm. No. The next item on the agenda is the superintendent's report. Dr. Sawyer?
Thank you, Ms. Boucher. Last Thursday, I sent a superintendent's update to the community that referenced a variety of issues, but I did want to reference this evening that I did write about how I, like so many, continue to be troubled by the rise of what we see of contempt in communications in our society, particularly on social media, in terms of how dialogue is playing out. At our opening day staff assembly, I actually presented some information from the Dignity Index, which is a nonpartisan effort to counter that kind of contempt by promoting constructive dialogue and dignity for all within our society. I'd encourage you to look it up online. This was a handout we got at a conference this summer from the organization. But it's, I think, something that could be helpful that we'll be referring to with our leadership team over the course of the coming school year. Within our schools, we work really hard to promote dignity by honoring the core values we have as a district, and each school has its own mission and values as well. We also follow the longstanding school committee's policy that respects our students' right to study controversial issues in an atmosphere that is, quote, free from bias and prejudice, so that they can share and express their ideas and opinions on controversial issues within a forum of fair and open discussions where they can grow their understanding of the difficult and complex problems they face as citizens in today's world. And that's a policy that goes back to, I forget now, the late 70s or the early 1980s. That was adopted by the Shrewsbury School Committee when Dr. John Collins was the superintendent here. And I think it resonates still today. We work really hard to present that kind of atmosphere for our students, and we're going to work hard to continue to do so during what certainly are challenging times within our society. And that is Superintendent's report this evening.
Thank you, Dr. Sawyer. The next item on our agenda this evening is student recognition of our robotics program. The Shrewsbury First Robotics Team 467, their former program director and student members of the Impact Award presentation team from Shrewsbury High School will discuss the robotics program and its successes last year, including being recognized with a District Impact Award at the Western New England University competition. FIRST defines the Impact Award as the most prestigious award at FIRST. It was created to keep the central focus of FIRST robotics competition on the ultimate goal of transforming the culture in ways that will inspire greater levels of respect and honor for science and technology, as well as encouraging more of today's youth to become science and technology leaders. So if you'd like to come up and introduce yourselves, great.
Well, thanks for having us tonight. Before we have Tim McBrayer, who was our director of our robotics program at Shrewsbury High School, and Tim informed me at the end of last year that he would be stepping down from that position. Throughout the summer, we sought out applications, and tonight we're with our new director, Joe Fitzpatrick. I always want to say Fitzgerald, but it's Fitzpatrick, and two students who are on the team. This team has done remarkable things, as you know, and members of our community know. Last year they attended the World Championships in Houston, Texas. They really embody and exemplify the hard work and dedication of members of our community and some of the critical and creative thinking that our students really work on not only through their academic studies, but beyond. And I'll turn it over to Tim to give you his little bit perspective of his time and tenure and what the robotics program has meant to not only him, but the students, and also we'll have students talk a little bit about their experience as well. So thanks for having us. I will turn it over and let the students introduce themselves, and maybe Tim, maybe we'll turn it over to the students just so you can introduce yourself, and we'll get into the program. So thanks.
All right.
All right.
Thank you.
So hello everyone, my name's Amr. I'm currently senior at SHS and a member of the robotics team.
Hello everyone, thank you for having us again. I'm Paneeth and I'm a sophomore in high school and also a second year on the team.
All right. With that fine introduction, you've just, knocked a couple minutes off of what I was written down here to say. So, I have been the program director for Shrewsbury Robotics, which involves Team 467, as well as FLL, you might hear me say, or a Lego robotics program, which is for middle schoolers, 4th through 8th grade. And we'll talk a little bit more along that. But Shrewsbury Robotics encompasses all of that, plus a few other programs that we run for community outreach, for fundraising and whatnot. I have been program director for 6 years, but I have been a mentor for 16 years. Joe here joined the team the same year that I did. When he was a freshman, was my first year back in 2010. I've known him since he was in about 6th grade because he and my older daughter were on Lego robotics teams, FLL teams together back in the aughts, I guess.
Yeah, I don't do the math too much on that one.
Right. But I'm really happy to be able to turn the leadership of the team over to Joe here. Clearly, I've known him for a long time. He's been a mentor for the team this is his 4th year now. After he went off to college, got himself learned how to be a person and made his own life, but decided to come back and help with the team. He's actually one of 6 alumni mentors that we have that are on the team right now, from students who have graduated from anywhere from 2010 through 2018, I want to say, right now.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a great group, and clearly everybody involved in the program is incredibly passionate about it. But I wanted to tell you primarily what last year was like for us, because it was remarkable. It was the first year that we had a full post-COVID team. So this was the kids who were freshmen in 2021. So they were back into school, they were back into the SHS environment. And I can't tell you how much of a difference that made. The previous 3 or 4 years, starting with my first year where the world shut down in 2020, it was, I can't even really put it into words, but it was a different team. The vibe, the feeling, it's like there was something wrong. And it's right now. And I can't tell you how happy I am with that. And I really credit the high school environment itself for helping to engender that. And I'm just glad that we were able to get back in and build that sense of team and family and community that had been kind of missing for the past 4 years. All of that helped dovetail together into building the best robot we've ever had. This team is 26 years old. This is by far, there are robot statistics sites that shows that this is the best performing robot we've had. We were Alliance captains at both of our local events. We ended up being the 4th ranked Alliance in both of them. This is almost unheard of for this team to have that solid of the robot performance, because frankly, I say all the time, it's not about the robot. I am not there to build robots, I'm there to build kids, I'm there to build people. The robot is just a tool to help do that with. So when we had such good such success, it's still, it's really exciting. But I'm actually a little more proud of some of the other recognition the team got this last year. At our first local event, Amr here was awarded the district level Dean's List Award. This is a personal recognition for a student who was nominated by their peers as someone who exemplifies the leadership and the gracious professionalism that embodies the ethos of First.
That one's selected by mentors, actually. But
Was it? I'm sorry.
that one's selected by mentors.
Thank
but yes.
you for correcting me.
Not that his peers wouldn't have picked him either. But, no, Amar's definitely a very strong candidate, and we're very happy that he was able to get recognized at the
District
at the
level, that's
district
right.
level.
Yeah. And then in our second event, we won the District Impact Award, which you so kindly explained, so I guess I don't need to do that now. The competition for the Impact Award is at the district level, at the district championships, which is called the regional level, and then continues on to the World Championships. Winning the district level gets you a ticket to go to the New England Championships, as did our robot performance. So we actually managed to double qualify this year for the first time that I can recall. So those are the things I'm most proud of, and now I would like to invite Puneet and Amar to talk a little bit about what the team has done here in our community to help us get recognized by First as someone having this level of impact.
One of the main reasons why we were able to receive this recognition was because we engage our community through hands-on STEM events and our outreach, which is rooted in long-standing STEM traditions. One example of this is our open house, where we host robot demos, tours of our shops, and we host fun STEM activities for our visitors. At the Spirit of Shrewsbury Fall Festival, we connect with the town, and the very next day, we showcase our parade robot at the Shrewsbury Parade. To further reach people, we recently revamped our Instagram, and we also shared FLL resources on our website to make it easier for teams, families, and students to access our resources throughout the year. We also put a strong emphasis on student programs. Girls' Day is an event that we host which brings girls who are passionate and dedicated in STEM with women working in fields like aerospace engineering and food science. To inspire younger students, we also host elementary school presentations where we bring our robot to the elementary schools in our town and present the engineering design process as a part of their curriculum.
As students grow, we're also dedicated to giving them more opportunities to learn and pursue leadership roles. And one of the examples of that is our team runs the robotics club at Sherwood Middle School, where the middle school students actually design and tackle their own engineering projects. And we also host a 4-week STEM summer camp, where the students will come in and they'll build and program Lego robots under our high school student supervision using last year's FLL game, as well as building their own model rockets. In addition, last year we started 16 FLL teams, and we hosted mock competitions for them to prepare them for the competition environment so they would be prepared. And we also host our own FLL qualifier, Mindstorm Mayhem, at Sherwood every year. And this event has been run by team members and organized by team members for the past 18 years. And during this event, we also use a scoring software which was designed by one of our team mentors to try to reduce paper waste. And this software is actually used across the state in many other different FLL events.
Thank
And-
you. Yeah. These are just some of the things. They are quite practiced as 2 of the 3 Impact Award presenters that we had last year. Winning the Impact Award involves an essay, a presentation, and question and answer period, and making a video. So they know what they're talking about here. In any case, as I mentioned, the Impact Award got us to the district championships on top of winning with the robot, which is always exciting. We had a few problems at the district championships, but we managed, rather than leading an alliance, we got selected onto an alliance, just a low-ranked, kind of an underdog. But we gelled as an alliance. An alliance is a group of 3 robots playing together. I realize I'm not telling all the bits that I know that these guys know that you may not. But First Robotics is played in teams of 3 to help encourage and kind of require the ability to work with people. These alliances then compete against each other in the elimination rounds, and we ended up 4th once again for the 3rd time that year. With that level of performance, that won us a ticket to Houston to the World Championship. We headed out after 2 weeks of frantic preparation and an amazing amount of support from the school system. Joined tens of thousands of other kids from around the nation, around the world, at all 3 levels, 4 levels of competition at robotics, at First Robotics. We didn't win. We didn't even make it to the elimination rounds, but we did. We're a solid middle-of-the-road team. And when you're competing among the best teams in the world, I consider that an amazing success. Not just these 2 gentlemen here, but the other 63 members of the team from last year all just poured their hearts and souls into the program, into the robot, and have just blown me away. So I do feel I'm stepping aside on a high note. I'm very confident in Joe. I'm not going anywhere, as I've mentioned any number of times to various people. I'm just moving from the front of the classroom to the back of the shop. I'll be the guy back there reminding the kids to wear their safety glasses and the proper use of tools and and such things like that. I really personally would like to thank the committee for letting me speak and inviting us here, and then both the SPS and SHS staff and faculty for all the support that they have given us over the years. This program couldn't be done without the amazing level of support and encouragement that I've gotten through my 6 years here. So thank you all very much for all the wonderful things that you have done to help support this program, because maybe it sounds like a cliche, but building people instead of building robots is really what keeps me here, what keeps me coming back. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming here tonight. This is very impressive. I know nothing about robotics. I learned a lot tonight, but I'm always impressed when our students come here to talk to us, and especially the teams and the clubs that we have up at the high school, the middle school, and how it's really more than just robotics. It is so impressive that not only are you working together as a team working to create these robots, but the community outreach that you have, that goes far beyond what, growing up, when we were part of teams, that's not really what you did. You played soccer or you were in the drama club and that's what you did. So taking that a step further and spreading something that gives you great joy to the rest of the community is such a great thing. What would you say for our students? What do you think you're most proud of or you've enjoyed most about being part of the robotics team?
I think definitely for me it's second for me is going to Worlds, because that was a big goal for us going into the season. But also Impact Award is definitely the biggest thing for me, because we didn't submit for the Impact Award the year before. So it was our first year bringing it back after that. So me, Paneeth, and a few other students spent a very long time during build season, hours in a room trying to write up the essay, get it perfect. And me, him, and the other presenter, we spent hours working on our presentation, just practicing over and over again. So I think definitely winning that after not doing it last year was the biggest thing for me, where I was really happy about it.
For me, I felt that it was really impressive and also really welcoming. The team immediately gave me an insight as to what we do, and it was really impressive, because from any other clubs that I've been to, it was always you attend a few meetings, see how it goes, and then you get deeply involved. But here I felt that as soon as the first week finished, I was in learning like the machines, CAD, and all these different like aspects. And I felt that was really cool because that was unseen for me anywhere else, especially with older students like Amr and all the other older students who've been and practicing and refining their skills. And they were really willing to hand off those skills to the younger and newer students, and I felt really grateful for that opportunity.
Great.
Thank you. Yeah, congratulations, and I'm also incredibly proud of all your success, and especially for your service for such a long time, and we're looking forward to stepping into big shoe. For sure, it will be a successful job path forward. But apart from recognition, as Mr. Sharif of Poor mentioned, you're encouraging the kids within our within our school systems. You're providing the pathways for them to think about STEM career pathways and all those things. So that sort of encouragement from you coming in, the path, showing the path, still driving the women in STEM activities and all those things, it's incredibly, you're motivating next generation kids. So that is very important, I think, as part of the leadership skills, right? So I'm deeply appreciative of all the things that you kids are doing, your students are doing. One quick question on the World Championship. I know it's sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but what would be the one thing that you learned from other teams that is very surprising and adaptable so that we can put our best foot forward next time?
I think that one thing that I definitely learned from watching many of the teams is the attitude that once you get to like the highest stage, I feel that it's not necessarily about winning, but rather learning. Especially like Tim mentioned earlier, this is the place where the best of the best teams from all around the world come in and compete. And so seeing their experience and their skills and learning from them, actually talking to them in person, really gave me like an insight into how those teams run, what they did differently than us. And I felt that was a really great learning experience. And yeah, especially like the winning part, we didn't go in thinking that we would, of course, like do or perform the best, but just experiencing, watching them play, I felt that gave me a really good understanding of what FIRST is about.
I think also in terms of kind of going off of what Paneet said, where there's always like another level where if we perform well one year, there's another stage we can reach. And when I went to the World Championships, I saw like these really innovative ideas that a lot of these teams had. Like, I'm looking at their robots, I'm watching them in matches, and even seeing the teams that won the Impact Award at Worlds, watching their videos and seeing the things they do. The biggest thing, I think, as Paneet said, for me and for the team, is that once we go there, since there's so many teams that are doing things very well, there's so many examples for us to learn from. And we can take those design practices, we can take those ideas in terms of outreach, and we can try to implement them as best as we can in our community. So that was the biggest thing. It was a huge learning experience for us.
Thank you.
Just would also like to extend my congratulations. It's very impressive how well you did last year. And again, echoing my colleagues' comments, just the pathways that you're creating for the younger students, it's just, you're going to just continue to generate the success of the program by doing so and by serving as mentors for the younger students. I'd also like to congratulate you, Mr. McBrayer, on your time with the program, and thank you for all your support, and welcome, Mr. Fitzpatrick. And I know it sounds like the program's in very good hands, so thank you.
Thank you.
Dr. Sawyer.
I'd like to underscore all of those sentiments. We're super proud of our robotics program. I love the new name, Center of Mass. I think that's really clever and appropriate. In terms of, if anyone ever has a chance to go to a FIRST robotics competition, the level of positive energy in these places, it just totally renews your faith in the youth of America. It's really extraordinary. Same with the FIRST LEGO robotics at the middle school level. It's really, and it's a great experience for our students, and I'm really pleased that we've had such a long-standing program where so many students, and I think the sign that so many alumni are coming back to be mentors, just really is a tribute to the culture that has been created over time. The successes of last year, we're very proud of. Obviously, from your presentations, even this evening, we can see why you were successful in winning the Impact Award. I really appreciate that first is really that's their highest honor. It's not about who wins the robotic competition. That's great, but that's really the essence of what they're trying to do. And I know for sure, in talking over the years with students who have participated, we have a lot of students who have gone on to study STEM subjects beyond high school and are in STEM fields. And I know there's an emphasis also on girls and women in STEM that you mentioned earlier. That is a long-standing tradition as well. Carol McAnally is a longtime leader who I still see at the central office, and continuing to be a key person in making the program run well. It's been incredibly influential for our young people in Shrewsbury for many years and continues to do so. And really last year was just an extraordinary achievement. So congratulations. We do have a couple of certificates for Amar and Puneet. We'd love to have all four of you come up and shake the committee's hand so we congratulate. Thanks again to Mr. McBrayer for his leadership over the years, and welcome to Mr. Fitzpatrick. And how about for those in attendance, a round of applause for our Shrewsbury robotics staff. Come on up.
So much. Nice presentation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congrats. Nice job. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Job.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Nice job.
That's for you.
Congratulations.
Well done. Congratulations. Well done.
Okay. And the next item on our agenda this evening is a report regarding the potential expansion of the Shrewsbury High School, the project with the Massachusetts School Building Authority. Mr. Girardi will present an update on a potential Shrewsbury High School building project to address severe overcrowding. The project received an invitation from the Massachusetts School Building Authority to move forward through its process and is currently in the eligibility phase. Projects that are ultimately approved by the MSBA's Board of Directors receive a school building grant from the MSBA, which in Shrewsbury's case would fund slightly more than 50% of eligible cost of this project. So, good
Thank
evening.
you. And joining me tonight is Principal Bazidlo from Shrewsbury High School. And the two of us will walk through a presentation here to inform the community where we're at with the current building project. So some topics that we'll cover today, we'll do a quick overview of what it means to build with the Massachusetts School Building Authority. We are currently in Module 1, so we'll explain where we are at in this module. We'll touch base on some milestones, progress through this module. We'll talk about enrollment certification, which is an important piece to this component, maintenance and capital planning, and then moving forward towards a local vote authorization at the end of October. So how we got into this is back in the spring of 2024, we submitted a statement of interest with the Massachusetts School Building Authority. And we found out in December of 2024, after some visits to the school and a lot of information that they looked at from what we submitted, is we were one of 22 core program projects selected to participate in the eligibility period with the MSBA. There were 119 applications during 2024, so being one of 22, I think really speaks pretty highly of their interest in working with us and their understanding of the needs that we have for our high school project. So again, there are 9 modules in working with the Massachusetts School Building Authority. We are in Module 1, eligibility period, and we'll speak to what that means today. And then moving forward, if we were to move forward through the process, if we receive the local vote authorization, Module 2 would then be forming the project team and moving forward with that component there, which is the beginning of the feasibility study. So the deliverables to this point in the eligibility period, the beginning of the eligibility period is a lot of paperwork that we submit to MSBA. It's an initial compliance certification saying that yes, we are interested in moving forward in the eligibility period itself. We form a school building committee. We complete an educational profile questionnaire, which really explains what the programming at the Shrewsbury High School currently looks like, including the amount of classrooms we have, the amount of sections that we have per classroom, and really gives a nice narrative of what the current programming is like at Shrewsbury High School. Paired with that is our online enrollment projection. We make an enrollment projection, and we use multiple forms of enrollment projections that we receive from both the McKibben report, from NESDEC, and from the town manager. So we have multiple sources that we submit, and we submit what we assume is an anticipated number for students that we would have in the year of the school opening. And then we submit a maintenance and capital planning information. This is the facilities side of the project, where the Public Buildings Division completes the majority of this information here and submitted, and it really gets to the kind of the nuts and bolts of the high school. It's the HVAC, it's lighting, it's heating, it's all the different components from their end. All of those have been submitted, so we have met all deadlines for those. We are waiting for the enrollment certification to be executed. We're waiting for the final number from MSBA as to what they believe is going to be the population size of the building that we're going to build. And I think that's pretty important, because we gave them what we think it should be. They look at a lot of information, and at the end of the day, they tell us what size the building should be as far as the amount of students that we are building. We would put the renovation addition onto the school building with. So moving forward, once we have that number, we will go to special town meeting to seek local vote authorization. And if that local vote authorization were to pass, we would enter into a feasibility study agreement with the MSBA on December 12th of this current year. So that's just an outline of where we're at during this eligibility period.
Great. In terms of just a little history, in terms of the size of the school, the school opened in 2002 and was the projected enrollment capacity is 1,475 students. The MSBA did a little bit of adjustment with the numbers based on special programming and the programming that's available within high schools now. Currently, the MSBA projects at Shrewsbury High School to have an enrollment of 1,250 students. And you can see trends.
So that's the square footage, that's what they would say would be the design of the current square
The
footage.
current square footage,
Yep,
correct.
got it.
So based on, if you look at class size numbers over the last 20 years, you'll see continual enrollment growth, which as of today, we're just over 1,900 students. The enrollment certification process associated with the MSBA project has to be agreed upon between the building committee and the MSBA. And the purpose is really to determine the long-term space issues that we're having. Factors including, and Mr. Girardi talked about this, the district enrollment history and trends and projections, which is interesting, and I'm not sure how many people in town actually are clued into, or cued into rather, the number of housing projects that are in the pipeline, but we'll show a slide with the number of housing projects. I think it might be surprising for people living in the community. Again, independent population growth projections conducted by the MSBA, and then really looking at the educational needs of the students and the enrollment, including the special education space and career and technical education. And Mr. Girardi talked about almost the triangulation or use of 3 different enrollment projection methods to come to this certification. So really the goal for the SHS project is to determine the size of a renovation or addition to alleviate and relieve the severe overcrowding, to address the educational needs that we currently have, and really critical, it's not a separate building, it's an addition and renovation, so we'd keep the existing building. And technically, the MSBA requires a process to determine whether a new building is the best, but they've already recognized it's not the best scenario, or it's not a scenario for Shrewsbury. And additionally, there'd be no grade changing either in terms of a grade reconfiguration. We'd maintain the existing grade levels 9 through 12.
So we met with the MSBA at the end of August, and we had our initial meeting around their enrollment forecast. And what they provided to us was some additional numbers. This is not their final number, but these were the discussion points that we had with them when we met with them. They provided a base enrollment estimate of 1,733 students due to current enrollment and what they see as historical growth. They also have some other factors that is kind of factored on top of the base enrollment. They are adding an additional 75 students to their base based on what they call their 3-year survival ratio. And this is a factor of growth from grade to grade over the most recent 3-year span. And what that shows is how well Shrewsbury retains or grows students year over year as they go through the different grade levels. We appreciate the 3-year scenario here because what we were concerned with is that we're going to take numbers that included the COVID years, and those numbers were skewed, especially in the early years. The fact that they're working off a 3-year span, I think, really gets to a more accurate number for us here in Shrewsbury, which we're thankful for. They're also adding 40 more students to the base as a factor of students who would have gone out of district if we continue to have severe overcrowding, if we don't have the programming that we can offer all students, if we were to build a building that had capacity for the types of programming we had and satisfied the needs for whatever enrollment we're going to have, it says that 40 students would stay in district versus seeking a high school elsewhere. So that's their factor there. So their current projection is 1,855 before factoring a few other considerations, and that's the development of new construction. So they're in the process of reviewing data and additional adjustments based on number and type of new housing development projects, especially 2-bedroom projects or 2 or more bedroom projects within the community. And this slide here will give you a sense of what those projects coming down the pipeline are going to be and the bedrooms. And I'll let Mr. Bizzillo speak to this.
Sure, so if you look at the far right column, it's basically the estimated time of completion. You'll look at a number of these housing projects will come online by the end of 2029. But if you look almost halfway through, a number of these projects will be online by 2027, and a couple have already been completed. If you look from right to left, the 4-bedroom, the top column, 4-bedroom, 3-bedroom, and we're really looking at the 2 and 3-bedroom number. If you look at the bottom, which is a total by unit, which would be under the 2-bedroom number of units is 341, and the 3-bedroom units is 296. Those are the factors that weigh into the MSBA enrollment projections, particularly with housing starts. Again, there's 434 1-bedroom homes, or 1-bedroom residences, and 101 studios. There's a ton of growth happening in town, but really focusing on the 2 and 3-bedroom, which would support families and living in town, and then have create potential students attending the school system.
So the other piece that we spoke to is MSBA requires communities to demonstrate good stewardship in maintaining school facilities to preserve the investment. Right, the MSBA would be investing quite a bit of money into Shrewsbury High School if we were to move forward in the process, and they want to make sure that we'll do our due diligence with using taxpayer funds appropriately. Some of the data that we provide is preventative and corrective maintenance systems and annual budgets, the capital budget plans and their budgets, and then different staffing levels. And these are how many custodians we employ, how many folks we have that service our buildings across the district, and this one here primarily Shrewsbury High School. So the next step here is that the MSBA requires that a community appropriate sufficient funding for a feasibility study, which would be the next module in the MSBA process, prior to their board of directors entering into that feasibility agreement with us. The building committee will make a recommendation. The high school building committee has formed. We have had a meeting. We have some upcoming meetings. We felt this was a good opportunity to bring this to the public through the school department side around the work that is happening, to make a recommendation of the amount based on comparative data provided by MSBA for similar type size projects. So the amount of money that would be needed to conduct a feasibility study. It's important to note that feasibility study expenses are reimbursable by MSBA. So even that this is the pre-building cost, it is still reimbursable at the overall rate for what we would get for the project. When we met with the MSBA on March 4th, they informed us that our current rate for 2025 is 52.26%, which means they would reimburse that on all reimbursable costs. So a special town meeting is planned for October 22nd. And in order to meet the MSBA timeline restrictions in the eligibility phase, we look forward to engaging the community during that time to have them consider funding for the feasibility study. And this final slide is kind of where we're at. The feasibility study is 270 days. It's a pretty lengthy process. We've completed a lot of paperwork, a lot of information for the MSBA to consider. And we're at the point now where we're waiting for the enrollment certification from them, and that'll be the final piece before we're able to go in front of a special town meeting and present the eligibility period and feasibility information for them to consider for the vote.
Great.
So with that, we are happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Bizzillo, Mr. Girardi. Colleagues, any questions?
Yeah, thank you for the overview. This is another step in the process, right, as you mentioned. And I know, contrary to what I've read on social media and some of the comments since we were accepted into the program, this is for an expansion of the existing building, not a brand new building, right? We know that, but it's just good to remind the public of that, and certainly remains a critical need for the future of the high school, for the students, the staff, and certainly the programming. And it's pretty specific when you are one of 22 core program projects out of 119 that were submitted. I think MSBA is very specific about where they want to, put their dollars, in terms of where the greatest needs are. We know that as well. And based on what I saw in that chart that you had with regards to housing projects, I count about 6 projects that are still going to happen over the next 3 to 4 years, right? So that's very important to factor in because that will have an impact for sure. So, but thank you very much.
Also, thank you both very much, and also Dr. Sawyer. There's a lot of work that goes into providing MSBA with everything that we need to keep us moving through this process. I also, the same thing, one thing, I'm glad that MSBA looks at the projects that we have right now, because when you count up 2, 3, and 4 bedrooms in the projects that we know about, that's 638 units. That's a lot of potentially extra students in the school system. And again, I'm sure there's other projects that are probably going to come down the pipeline, and we don't know about that. But the fact that MSBA does such a good job really looking at the data and looking at past and going to the future, so they're not just creating a building and saying, that we'll come back to them in 15 years and say, oh, we're out of space again. So this is a very tried and true process, and I'm glad that we're still in it. I think especially ahead of town meeting, I think it's important for us to talk to the public, and if people want to ask questions about what is this process and why do we need this up at the high school, because I've also had conversations where I've had people come up to me and say, oh, I heard we're doing two high schools. No, that's not what's happening. But it's also, this isn't a vanity project where we just want a bigger high school just because we want a bigger high school. It's not like it's just because the halls are crowded. Yes, the halls are crowded, but this has a bigger reach than just halls being crowded. This is classrooms that we don't have the space for. This impacts lunch. This impacts students with IEPs, 504s. This has a far reach. So I think it's important for us to continue to have this conversation, to put all that good information out there so we can really show the public how important this project is for not just us, but as the community as a whole, because we have so many good things that come out of the high school, and we want to continue that. And this is a needed thing for up there. But thank you for your work on this.
I have a couple of questions. Thanks for the presentation. Thanks for it. It's very timely as the warrants are being discussed even last night at the select board meeting. So, and also FinCom meeting. So this is very good to have it handy, this slide deck, and then refresh the memory of the community on where we are, what we are doing. And also totally echo all the sentiments mentioned by project highlighted by my colleagues. And also I want to say that the robotics team just presented. That's a wonderful, one of the many things that we do at high school very successfully. So I think having the resources available to much more meaningfully engage the students will be always always critical and also important in the current time. So I have a few quick questions. Like 1855 projection by MSBA, is that the number for when the project gets initiated, or is it?
So that was the initial number that they shared with us when we met with them in August. And that was kind of the foundation number to grow our conversation on. It is not their final number. We don't anticipate that to be their final number, because what isn't factored in there, which following that meeting, we did share this slide here, which is we've added a few additional developments onto this slide that they had some information on. They didn't have information on a handful of them. Mr. Mizikar, after we met with them, sent them information on a few projects that were coming in the pipeline prior to when this project would come to fruition. And they are taking those complexes, those apartment developments into consideration. So they are refactoring that number. The 1,855 is their base enrollment of 1733, with approximately 75 students for the 3-year survival ratio, and approximately 40 students for the potential students remaining in district because of the new project. So the bottom line number they gave us at that meeting was 1,855, but we left that meeting expecting changes following more information that we provided to them. So it's kind of a fluid process with them. We're having conversations. They go back to the drawing board after we have some discussions. It may be less, it may be more, but this is the latest information that we have from them until we receive their enrollment certification.
And then the projections will be so that's pending coming from MSBA, right, for the next 10 years or 10.
We expect to have that before the October 1st meeting of the next meeting of the high school building committee. And on the October 8th, your next regular scheduled school committee meeting, we'll have that information update for you. We'll have some more information about the special town meeting article there. That's when we'll ask you to vote to recommend to town meeting that they fund the feasibility study. But this enrollment certification, I think one way to look at it is that the MSBA wants to be sure that if they're going to invest, many millions of dollars in a community for a school building project, that it is going to be a cost-effective solution to the issue. So they want to be sure that whatever project they help fund is sufficiently of sufficient size that it solves the problem. And it's a first step in the problem, and they're looking out essentially 10 years from now as what their projection looks like. And so, again, they're doing their own independent evaluation of population in Shrewsbury, women of childbearing age in Shrewsbury, what the historical enrollment and the current enrollment in lower grades are. Then they adjust it by these different factors. But because of the growth that's happening in housing in Shrewsbury, they wanted to get more specific information, particularly about number of bedrooms. We expect we're going to have that number from them before the October 1st building committee meeting, and we'll bring that to you as an update at the October 8th meeting as well.
Thank you.
And the enrollment certification, I think, getting to your point, was once their number is set, that's the set number for the project. So that's an important piece that they ensure early on, and that's what they build off of through all the other modules as they move forward.
Yeah. Well, one of the thing that's missing from the list of new developments coming in, that's 40B on Lake and Main Street intersection. Like it's supposed to be like 900 units or something like that. 40B development, right?
Sure. So what was provided to them was the information that we had at the end of August.
Okay.
So Lake and Main Street, Lake and Main?
Lake and Main.
Okay.
It's on the off of the 290, where the 290 exit is.
Oh, where the
Near the high
Salto-
school.
Near the high school, yeah.
Yeah,
Is that the Emerald Run location?
it might
I don't
be.
believe so.
Because that's a big development with 900 units, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
So,
I don't remember
but
what they're called.
yeah, because that has a humongous impact
Sure.
for sure.
Sure.
So that's the one thing. And the last question I have is, so the 270-day, is it a 270th day? Is that's when we have to be in compliance by town voting the what is this authorization, right?
Yes.
So so is that the last day of, we are having town meeting on 22nd, right? Is that the last day of that compliance, being in compliance?
It is not. So October 22nd would be the special town meeting vote. The 270th day is November 28th.
Okay.
So there was some wiggle room where if we needed to have the special town meeting a little bit later, it was available. There are also a few weeks where following the vote, special town meeting vote, there's work that still needs to be done to memorialize the process with MSBA for their agreement, which would be on December 12th.
Oh, okay, wonderful.
So,
Yeah. So we do have buffer
Yes,
time then.
there's a little bit of, there's buffer there. The initial compliance certification is what kicks off the 270 days. That was April 2nd. That leads us to November 28th, which is the 270th day.
And let me just add, the development you're referring to, Mr. Velgaputi, is called the Wheelock, so that actually is
I see
listed
that.
there,
Okay.
about halfway down the table.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We've seen firsthand the impact of growing enrollment, evolving student needs, and the demand for flexible learning spaces at Shrewsbury High School. Moving this project forward to the feasibility study phase will allow us to explore potential options to alleviate overcrowding, improve safety and accessibility, and provide space for educational programming. And by participating in the MSBA process, we've got the opportunity to leverage state dollars to address these needs. We will be seeking town meeting support of the project, moving the project forward at the special town meeting, as you referenced, in October. And just to highlight for the community, again, I know it's been mentioned, but these expenses of the feasibility study, 52% would be reimbursable to the town by MSBA if this were to be voted, supported by town meeting. But thank you very much for bringing this forward, this information. I think it's just important to highlight for those that are watching, the importance of this project and where we are at in terms of, the timeline here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dr. Sawyer.
No, thank you, Ms. Boucher, and for those who have been in town for a number of years now, know that since the advent of the Massachusetts School Building Authority, we've had two very successful projects with them, the new Sherwood Middle School and the new Major Howard W. Beale School. Both were outstanding projects that came in on time and under budget. They're going to provide lasting value for decades for the community and addressed space needs that we had and capital building needs that we had at the time. As was Mr. Wensky referenced, the fact that MSBA selected Shrewsbury, I like to think part of it is that we've had two very successful projects with them, and they know that they will have a good partner if this is to move forward, and ultimately if the community supports it when the time comes a few years from now, assuming feasibility study goes forward with special town meeting, and a project's developed, a cost-effective project that is, it will have a cost and a very specific definition that the community would then vote whether or not to fund. We're a couple of years away from that point. But the MSBA process is very detailed. It's very clear. We're in the very earliest stage of it. This is the last part of that will happen over the course of this fall. Again, I think it's very exciting that the School Building Authority wants to invest in Shrewsbury again, presuming that that goes forward. So we look forward to presenting some more information at your next meeting about the specifics of the special town meeting warrant article, and then hearing town meeting's questions at that meeting, and hopefully a favorable vote at that point to move to the next step. So we'll look forward to sharing more at our next meeting.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is a transportation services report. Mr. Girardi and Ms. Yu will report on transportation services at Shrewsbury Public Schools. That includes information on the district's contract with AA Transportation, current ridership, bus registration, and late bus service. AA Transportation Division Manager, Mr. Chevalier, will join Mr. Girardi and Ms. Yu for the report. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Shifting gears here, no pun intended. Sorry, that was not very good. I apologize. Okay, so thank you. This evening, we're going to present just an overview of our Shrewsbury Public Schools transportation. Thank you to Bob Chevalier for joining us from AA. Bob is a key leader in transportation for Shrewsbury Public Schools and a great representative of AA transportation. April Yu is really, again, the same thing on the Shrewsbury Public Schools side. The two of them and I all work very closely together, along with some other really key folks, to make sure that transportation, both in district and then out of district, are performing at its best for our students and for our community. The first slide I'll show here is just a general overview of our transportation budget. We are in year 3 of a 5-year contract with AA Transportation, which the period began on August 2023, and it runs through August of 2028. And the contract is a 6% annual increase over the term of the contract. Each year it increases by 6%. And that's a flat rate. Some contracts have a lot of other components in it. It's a very clean and clear agreement between Shrewsbury Public Schools and AA. Our regular day transportation is, so this is for the entire year for our yellow school buses, is from arrival and dismissal, $3,164,218, and that's 39 school buses. Special education in-district transportation is just over $1 million at $1,090,408. And then our out-of-district transportation, which AA does have some part in, but we also do contract with other providers, is $1,615,426. Vocational transportation for this year is $187,165. Our field trips and athletics, extracurriculars, all in is $565,019. Our late bus program, which we'll speak to in a little bit, this year is $73,568. So total transportation budget, just under $6.7 million, all in. Again, it's a lot of money there, but it's a really great service, and between all these different categories, which we'll drill down to in just a few moments, it really provides a lot of value for our community, and we'll talk about that now. So the different services and contracted providers that we use, again, we have our regular day, in-district regular day transportation, in-district special education late bus, that is through AA Transportation, and we also do have Shrewsbury Public School vans. Our out-of-district special education is varied. We do have AA provides some of those. We also do work with the Assabet Valley Collaborative in providing transportation to other school placements throughout the state of Massachusetts. Athletics, extracurriculars, music, we use AA Transportation for those. Our homeless students, our McKinney-Vento transportation, that is varied. Again, we use multiple providers depending on availability and the need for that trip. Our summer programming for special education is through AA Transportation, and our field trips are through AA Transportation. We are in our 3rd year. It's hard to believe that since we made the school start time changes, and I think this slide just highlights a continued highlight of some of the benefits of the school start time change as far as students getting picked up at their school bus stops. So before 2023, 2024, before the start time change, the earliest bus pickup was 6:13 a.m. with an average first pickup of the buses at 6:19 a.m. Since the time change, school start time change, the earliest pickup is 7 o'clock a.m. and that's a agreement between Shrewsbury Public Schools and AA Transportation that we don't pick students up before 7 o'clock, although some of those buses are right there just itching to get the kids on the bus, with an average start time of, the average of the first pickup for our 39 buses is 7:05. And then for our middle schools, before I move on, that's an average of 46 minutes of more sleep opportunity of the Shrewsbury High School bus students. So those students getting picked up early, that was an important component of the school start time changes, and we continued to be able to see the the results of what that means on transportation. Our middle school morning routes, so this is the next tier after the high school gets picked up and dropped off at the high school. They then begin their middle school tier, and the first pickup time there is before the start time change was 7:13 a.m. And the earliest pickup time now, after the school start time change, is 7:36 a.m. So about 30 minutes for our middle school students as well. So just wanted to put this out there as another kind of factor in what the school start time changes has done for students, especially those, my kids included, who live on the edges of town, who are the ones typically picked up earliest in the morning to come to school. So our ridership for this year, this slide here just shows a comparison of our riders from last school year to riders from this school year, and all the different places in which we transport students. We are obligated by law and by good faith to our community to transport students to St. John's, St. Mary's, Alhambra, the schools in town, as well as our vocational programs in which we send students to. So this slide here shows that the difference between FY25 and FY26. You can see many of these categories are down. In speaking with Ms. Yu, her brilliance in understanding this, for our day-to-day transportation, the Shrewsbury Public Schools yellow bus transportation, we're down by about 59 students from at this point last year. Two factors that we equate this to: Leicester High School, we're sending 21 students there. Those students probably or typically would be bus riders to the high school. And we also have a much lower number of students that we're transporting from our homeless shelter. So the past couple of years, we've had upwards of 60 students that we were transporting, and that number is significantly lower. We're around 12, 13 students currently at this time. So that also factors into these numbers. I'm just going to skip forward real quick just to this slide here. This shows kind of the span over a few years, where FY26 is 4,132 students. That's pretty similar to FY23. There's a boost in 24 and 25 by about 50 students, and some of those factors we just spoke about. So we feel we're down a little bit, but statistically speaking, it's about 1 percentage point and not something that we think is statistically significant. I could use a drink of water. So with our 4,132 students, just to do some simple math, our total in-district budget for home-to-school transportation is just over $3 million. Average cost per student is $766. Our FY26 transportation fee is $300 per student. We think it's important to show that the fees this is not a self-funding program through the fees that we incur on our families. The fees supplement the cost. The district does account for much of this cost through its appropriated budget. Our bus fee history, we want to share that for FY26, school committee did vote to reduce the school bus fee from $320 to $300 per student with a family cap of $900. So in the previous 4 years, the bus fee was $320 per student with a family cap of $960. Just want to drill down a little bit more to the vocational transportation costs, because these have evolved pretty significantly over the past few years. This year we are transporting 21 students to Leicester High School for their Chapter 74 program. We're really excited about that. We have one bus that has community stops across town that allows us to pick up the 21 students who are accessing the bus and get them to Leicester High School for a pretty early start time. Their school day starts a little bit earlier than ours. We felt it best to have those community stops to reduce the amount of time that those students are on the school bus and get them to school on time with leaving at a fairly reasonable time. It is quite early. Assabet Vocational, we have 4 students, which, in speaking with Ms. Yu, a few more students who attend have signed up for the school bus, plus we do have a move-in, so we have 7 students accessing the Assabet van as of today. And you can see the cost for that van is just over $60,000. The Leicester High School bus, that's the cost of one bus within the district. And we have 1 student who attends Norfolk Aggie. We have a van share with some local communities, and we share that van. So our total vocational cost is $187,165. Over the past few years, we had been running multiple buses to Assabet. As those numbers have come down, it's allowed us to adjust our fleet for our vocational programming. So our vocational costs for transportation have actually come down a little bit, even though we're offering more opportunities for program. So our out-of-district special education transportation, this is both in-district and out-of-district. Over the past 3 years, you can see in blue is the in-district transportation costs that are budgeted, and then in red is the out-of-district costs that are budgeted. And you can see here the town appropriated budget, the town appropriated budget in blue has come down a little bit, where our grant funded transportation cost has risen. So although our town appropriation may look like special ed transportation is coming down, it actually is not. We're just having to fund through different grant funds to be able to cover the cost of the program. So you can see in yellow, the overall cost of the program is going up. We're just adjusting the places in which we're drawing the funds from. So our late buses went into effect on September 15th, which last Monday. We have 3 buses for the high school and then 3 buses for Oak and Sherwood. And these are regional stops for students who wish to access, and families sign up through a district Google sign-up form. Again, the estimated cost for the late bus is $73,568. This was initially funded through ESSER funding coming out of the COVID years. It was moved into the appropriated budget in FY25, which was last year, and is continued into this year. And to show you kind of the value of this program, ridership for last school year, the high school averaged 133 riders per week. Oak and Sherwood averaged 80 riders per week. The district daily average for our late bus was 67 riders per day. So that's pretty impressive, the amount of students who are able to access after-school programming, whether it be extra homework, extra work with a teacher, student activity, athletics, whatever it might be, who might not have been able to have that transportation provided to allow them to access after-school activities. Okay. So I spoke a lot. Ms. Yu is dying to share her perspective, and Mr. Chevalier as well. Wanted to get through some of the nuts and bolts, and then we're able to answer any questions or talk through some of the key points for you.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. A lot of moving parts and buses, pun intended with that one. And also, I don't think people appreciate how much goes into the transportation piece of our district, and it really, this presentation kind of just gives you that high-level overview. Definitely a well-oiled machine for sure. What I think I took away from the ridership chart, something that I don't know just stood out to me, not so much about transportation, but when you look at the vocational numbers and you see that drop in Assabet to 4, but you see the increase in Leicester to 21. I think about the fact that we're able to provide 21 students vocational opportunities that wouldn't otherwise be there if we didn't have that partnership with Leicester, which is just such a win for the district. But it's just so great that we're able to provide that service to students. And as you mentioned too, with the late bus and the opportunities that are available to students with that as well. Also glad you called out the fees really only cover under 50% of the total cost per rider. And I know as a committee, we've started to take a look at fees every year just to see what we can do to mitigate, the cost for families with all the fees that are in the district whenever and wherever feasibly possible. I think it's important to call out, but yeah, I always appreciate the presentation and everything that you do for our district. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it too. I know that, doing the bus schedule is a task that I would never want to touch. So thank you for doing that. And also, we have such a good relationship with AA Transportation. I know my youngest goes on the bus, and she loves her bus driver, but she also loves when Bob gets on the bus, and he is the substitute bus driver. The party bus comes down the road. I know that last year when you were here, we had asked about, I think Shrewsbury is a little bit lucky with AA in the sense that staffing was really good last year and that you didn't have much of a turnover, which in other communities, they are having trouble hiring bus drivers. How are we doing this year compared
Better
to
than last year. Great.
Great.
Actually, great. And as you know, traditionally, the first 2 to 3 weeks is tough for students, parents, teachers, administrators, bus drivers. This year, the rollout was unbelievably smooth. And I credit that to the amount of drivers who are still with us in Shrewsbury. Close to 95% of these drivers have been doing this for a while. They came back, nailed it first week. I'm talking with the principals, and they said, "What's going on? We know what we're doing."
Yeah.
And they showed up. They rolled out at the right time, and we're just making it happen. But right now, we're locked in Shrewsbury with the bus drivers. We don't have a route open. We've got people that are out for different reasons, but the routes are all full.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Anything else? No, not for right now.
Ms. Riley?
Yeah, I echo the same. Especially this year, I see a significant spotless or no complaints. They were on time. They're always the same bus driver. So the rollout was very, very meticulous. So kudos to all who gets involved and make it happen, so that the parents don't need to worry. So for my education, I have one quick question. So with the transportation to other schools, like non-Shrewsbury school, like private schools, how do we handle that? So do they pay through still to our portal, or is it does like St. John's pay substitute some of the costs, or how does it work?
So they apply through a different form. I'll let you speak to the form itself, but as far as funding goes, Shrewsbury Public, like the town, we're responsible for covering the cost of transportation to all the schools that reside in the town of Shrewsbury. So that is our cost to incur. So we build those routes into the 39 buses that we have for this year. We have 39 school buses. A few years back we had 37. So we added 2 buses back in 23-24 when we made the school start time changes. Out of those 39 routes, we're able to build in the routes for the different schools within those 39 buses.
And just to clarify, by law, local public school districts are required to provide transportation for resident students who attend private schools within the town. So a student from outside of Shrewsbury doesn't get transported by us to St. John's, but if they live in Shrewsbury and they would like to take the bus to St. John's, they do. It's the same, we have to provide the same level of transportation, but that also means that if they live more than 2 miles from the school, they're required to pay a fee, just like a Shrewsbury high school student would, or in high school, it's any high school student. So it's grade 7 through 12. But if it were in the younger schools, the same rules apply essentially for Shrewsbury residents, and that's true of any community in the Commonwealth.
Yep. So all the 7th graders and above, like St. John's, everybody needs to pay for the fee.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So just like any of our own kids.
Okay.
What is different is that vocational technical, so to Assabet and to Leicester, we cannot charge a fee. Because ostensibly the reason why by state law is that the state is supposed to provide full reimbursement for that cost. We never get full reimbursement for that cost, but we get a limited amount of reimbursement each year. However, the law precludes us from charging a fee, because sometimes people ask, why is it that someone who goes to a vocational technical high school is not charged a fee? state law prevents it. So it's a little bit of a different piece based on state regulations for that.
Thank you. I also say we also look forward for Bob to come in. He's famous
Trying
for
to figure out a
cupcakes.
way to drive all the buses at once.
Thank you.
I thank you very much for the report. It's very helpful. I also wanted to publicly thank AA for their assistance on August 28th. It was a very complex situation, and we're very appreciative of how you handled it. Rerouting buses to Beale, staging buses and dismissing people from Beale. All of this was done on the second day of school, the first day of preschool, first day of kindergarten, days when transportation is, like most difficult and most demanding. So we are just very deeply appreciative of your professionalism, flexibility, and then the care that your team demonstrates. And we wanted to recognize, the challenges that come with student transportation, and we're very grateful of your ongoing partnership and support in helping us fulfill our educational mission. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dr.
Thank you.
Sawyer.
Thank you. I certainly want to echo that, and we really appreciate AA as a partner. And you don't have to look too far in the news media to know that other school districts who have other providers have really struggled with having enough bus drivers, having routes completed on time, or even completed at all in some cases. And that's something that has not been an issue for us. It's been a terrific partnership for a long time. We're really thrilled to continue to work with AA Transportation. And thank you, Mr. Chevalier, Ms. Kasputis, who helps us in her role, and as well as the owner, Ron Earn and Wine. They've been excellent partners for us and continue to be. I do want to mention, I have a question from I'd like Ms. Yu to answer quickly, but I do want to mention that we continue to have some struggles with our out-of-district transportation for our students with special needs who attend day schools outside of the Shrewsbury community. And I did want to commend Ms. Yu and Mr. Girardi. We just had we contract through our local collaborative, the Aspet Valley Collaborative, who has a contract. There's a new contract this year. The organization who got that new contract was not able to meet the needs clearly after the first couple weeks of school, and we had to pivot. And there were about 10 students, or about 10 routes, 10 students, I'm trying to remember.
Nine students.
9 students who needed to have a different provider, and we were able to turn that around in the space of about 3 days. And get them transportation so that they could, so that we solved that issue with those students. We're still monitoring the other students who are still being transported by the other provider, and we're going to continue to monitor that closely and make sure that we're getting the service that we need for those students. So I wanted to mention that because I know that they responded very quickly. It was a difficult situation, and we were able to respond in a way that mitigated it as best we could. But if you don't mind, Ms. Yu, could you also speak a little bit to the work that happens between you and AA in terms of building the routes over the summer, the software we use, and then how you sort of in a customer service role for the district work with families around bus stops and the like, because I think it's important to understand that there's a very we do not have a big team on this, right? But you see 4,000 plus students riding daily, almost all the time on time, with friendly drivers and really good service, but it's a very complex operation with not a big team doing it. Could you just briefly talk about what that process is like?
We're I'm very grateful. I work with amazing team like AA, Hope, Bob, the team. We always work seamlessly together. We have each other's cell phone number. We text each other all the time. Summer and winter, it doesn't matter like what time of the day, we just text each other and immediately we get the response, which is so unheard of. Like, we are very proud to work with AA. Personally, on my level, job function, I'm very, very grateful. And it is a big job, and it's a lot of responsibilities. And we try so hard to meet the needs of all the families, whether it's a special need kid or just regular big yellow bus. So we value every little kid and all the families around in town, in our community. And we love the kids. We want to provide the best services possible to the kids. So being on time is important. Being safe is even more important. So that's why we definitely work like seamlessly, like tirelessly to, every day for the kids. Summer is a crunchy month for us. We are very grateful that last year we started using TransFinder instead of VoiceTrans. VoiceTrans was out of date. We started using TransFinder, and this is our second year using it. So Hope definitely got the bus routes done a lot quicker. And previous years, the old software we use can delete all the routes in the middle of the summer. We had to redo it. That was a nightmare. So this year, everything, like we did the rollover, we did the adjustment and everything, make it so much easier. So we are very happy with the new software, and we are still learning, like get to be like better and better, like using it and training and everything. So it's a big process, but I feel like overall this year is much better.
I appreciate you talking about that, because I know one of the goals the school committee has had for the district strategically is finding ways to leverage technology to make our services more efficient and effective wherever possible. And I think this TransFinder is a good example of one way we've been doing that.
Absolutely.
The last couple of years, and really just makes the human element, which is so important, just more effective, especially when we don't have a lot of human resources in this role. It's a small team. So appreciate you sharing that. And again, thank you for your work. And I know I hear Ms. Yu, especially at the start of the year, very late in the office, working through, where there's been an adjustment that needs to be made in a bus stop, or, early in the morning, which has happened even these last couple of days, there's been construction on Route 140. Sometimes there just has to be, unanticipated. Some of those are planned and we know about ahead of time, and we work through changes in routes, make families aware. Other times we have to respond to an accident or something that we had one today, and created some traffic backups, and how can we maintain those routes as well as possible. And the responsiveness from both Ms. Yu in her office and AA has been something that we pride ourselves in. So again, I'm really grateful. Thank you to all of you for the work you do to make the transportation program effective in our district.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda this evening is a fiscal year 2026 personnel update report. Ms. Sadecki will present a report describing personnel processes and providing information on new hires, transfers, and promotions in the district for the 25-26 school year. We've received a report on this topic. Ms. Sadecki will make a presentation and will be available to answer questions from the committee. So,
good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you for having me this evening. I'm pleased to be able to be here and share some of the great work that we've been doing, not only the HR team, but really as a district. Let's see here. So to start off, the recruitment process really begins with retention. And I'm really pleased to say that that work began even before my arrival here in Shrewsbury. We had a very strong year last year of 24 to 25 of retaining staff, which led to fewer needs for hiring going into this hiring season. So compared to the previous year where we hired 69 professional positions, this year we needed to hire 51. We needed to hire 52. We successfully to this point have hired 51. We do have one position that remains unfilled, unfortunately. We continue to work toward that, and in the meantime have reallocated some duties among some of the other staff to ensure proper coverage. That position that is unfilled is a special education position at the high school. And that leads me to my next point with regard to some of the difficulty that we've had. The positions that were the most challenging to fill over the course of this hiring season were those special education positions, both moderate and severe special needs, and world language teachers. Despite the difficulty with regard to the world language teacher positions, we were able to successfully fill all of those roles with very qualified people. So really pleased to be able to let you know that. And part of the process of filling these roles has to do with the rigorous selection process that we have in place here in Shrewsbury. And I think the committee has long known that that has been in place, but that includes interviews, demonstration lessons with a selection committee. Those committees are typically comprised of principals, directors, curriculum coordinators, teachers, parents, and at the secondary level, students are included in those committees as well. In addition to that, thorough reference checks are completed and background checks as well in order to ensure proper match. And every person who we place in a role, professional role within the district meets with Dr. Sawyer, and we review our mission and values, our strategic goals, and our portrait of a graduate to ensure people understand and they're on board with the work that we're doing here right from the beginning. So where do we find people? Of course, School Spring is sort of the system of record for most school districts, I believe, in the area. And we are no different here in Shrewsbury. That's where we post our positions. And it's also where we manage our applicants as well. Some other avenues that we like to pursue in order to ensure that we have a diverse and qualified candidate pool includes paraeducators, our long-term substitutes, student teachers, and even employee referrals are other potential sources for hires for us. We do post positions on other sites. There's a diversity site called imdiversity.com and college sites, whether it be individual college sites or Handshake is another site that reaches multiple different colleges with one posting. So as part of the district's ongoing commitment to excellence and the optimization of resources, the HR team has been working really hard at leveraging existing technology to maximize our effectiveness. As you know, we have a very lean team. There's 3 of us that are managing all of the needs for roughly 1,000 employees, which is no small task. With the assistance and the collaboration from the school HR department, the school IT department and the municipal HR team, we have worked with Tyler Munis and have implemented a absence and substitute system where instead of the 5 a.m. phone call to the school secretary if someone's ill, a staff person can put their sick day into an automated system and it will automatically generate an assignment for any substitute in our pool that's matched to that particular role. So if it's a world language teacher, a music teacher, or a general education teacher, and same for paras as well. That system we've been in the process of implementing it over the summer. It's been fully implemented at this point. While I can say that we have fully implemented it, we are still working things out and realizing, for example, if we require an approval for a sick day, that means the sub isn't contacted until it's approved. So we're working on some workflow processes to ensure that we are responsive, we are being mindful of who needs to see things and when, and then also being as prompt as we possibly can to have assignments out there to our sub pool as quickly as possible. And then we continue to monitor our fill rate, and we're able to pull reports very quickly to understand how effective the system is for us and opportunities for improvement. In addition to the absence and substitute system, we have also implemented an onboarding platform that is completely online. So that has removed the need. Prior to this online onboarding system, our new hires were coming into the office and filling out pages and pages of paper forms for not only their payroll forms, but benefit information or any number of other compliance related things as well. So we've been able to move all of that online so people can fill that out from the comfort of their home. And if there are errors with the forms or omissions, we're able to send them back to the applicant for them to correct them, which has been great. And not only does it reduce the duplicate entry that would be resulting from an applicant or a new hire filling that out, and then either HR or payroll, it also has made us more effective and reduced the need for duplicate entry or even the opportunity for error on the part of multiple different people handling the same information. So that's another process that has been a case of building the airplane while you're flying it. You know, as I mentioned, we hired 51 professional folks this season and a total of 71 people, which I'll get to, but utilizing that system was trial by fire for the system for sure. It went really well, and we've learned a lot through that process. So as I mentioned, the 51 professional staff were primarily new hires, but there were some transfers and promotions within that group of people as well. And then district leadership, we hired 7 new leaders within our district. 3 of those, I'm pleased to say, were internal promotions. And one of our new leaders is the rehire of a teacher who had left Shrewsbury and become an administrator at another district and has since come back home. So we're really glad to have him back too. Now on to paraeducators. This is another group of folks that we spend a significant amount of time hiring over the summer and really on an ongoing basis throughout the school year. They're a critical part of the educational journey for our students and very important part of providing support to students who need it. The good news continues with regard to retention here. We needed to hire 43% fewer paraeducators this year than last year because of such a reduction in turnover. So since July 1st only, there were 18 paraeducators hired, but again, I want to reiterate that that hiring goes on all throughout the school year, so it's not as if we hired 18 for all of the school year last year. And with the new contract that was recently negotiated by the school committee in collaboration with the SPA, we're hopeful that that's going to help us be competitive and attract and retain very highly qualified paraeducators to round out our teams. Shrewsbury Public Schools, as you know, is dedicated to increasing the diversity of our staff. It's been an ongoing project that we have been working on, and we continue to utilize the guidelines of Talent Acquisition Handbook to ensure hiring practices are equitable and inclusive for all. And we ensure that all of our job postings include a call out encouraging applicants from a wide variety of backgrounds to apply to work here. Each interview process concludes with an anti-bias exercise to ensure that the process was welcoming for all. And I know that we do like to provide diversity information on our new hires. As part of our implementation of some of our new software, we're still gathering some of that information. So I can share that with you in another report at a future date. So our summary here, we hired a total of 77 people into regular positions, and I'll break that down on the next slide. But that is a decrease from 104 people that were hired at this time last year. And again, having only one open position really speaks to the number of people who have chosen to stay here in Shrewsbury. So we're really proud of that. And, you know, I am confident, and I know as a team we're all confident that this rigorous selection process and our devotion to embracing new technology and utilizing it in a way that will help us be more effective will not only give a better experience for people, but also help the HR department operate more strategically. So here's the breakdown of positions that we filled over the course of this hiring season. So the 7 district leadership positions that I mentioned, 51 professional level hires, 18 paraeducators, and we also hired a payroll specialist here in central office to make 77. So I do want to take an opportunity first to just express how excited I am to be a part of this wonderful district and to have a chance to share out some of the good work that we've been doing. As a member of the HR team in central office, we really appreciate the ongoing support of the committee and of the community as a whole. And I really do need to call out the IT team and the municipal HR team from the town hall and our payroll team. It's been a heavy lift to implement all of this new technology, and it's taken a lot of grace and a lot of patience along the way to get things where we need them. So it's been a great year so far.
Thank you. Mr. Wetsky.
Yeah, first off, welcome to Shrewsbury.
Thank you.
Obviously, we've met many times, but I think for the public, this is your first meeting. So great presentation. Really appreciate the overview on the technology impact and how it's certainly streamlining things a bit better. And just so I understand it, with that substitute system that you mentioned, I know through talking to previous leadership, you know, they were making a lot of calls, like manual calls, and then looking for substitutes, and it was a very, you know, labor-intensive process. It sounds like now this is a system where if somebody needs to call out sick, they can submit it to this system, and then once it's approved, is that when it kind of initiates a call to like a substitute that could potentially fill that in? Am I hearing that right, or?
So that's one of our learnings. We're
Okay.
not requiring an approval. If you're sick in the morning, you're sick in the morning, and we're
Right.
going to find a substitute.
Got it, okay.
And for things like personal days, that will require approval
Sure.
before it goes out. And typically, those are given well in advance. That will enable us an hour or even a day won't hinder our ability to find a substitute for a personal day. Whereas sick days in the morning, in particular,
Sure.
are urgently needed to be filled. So that's a good point.
Yeah, no, that's great. No, it's just good to see how it's kind of working its way into the HR area, and I'm sure there's definitely more great things to come in terms of efficiencies. So, yeah, appreciate the overview. This is great. Thank you.
Thank you. One other thing I just want to bring to your attention also with regard to that system is when a person utilizes a sick day or a personal day in that system, it automatically feeds over to our payroll system.
Okay.
So again, reducing the duplicate entry, and hopefully, as long as all of our information as we have built it is accurate, which it seems to be, but that will then feed over into the payroll system and automatically deduct that day or that half day. So that's been a learning process, figuring out what the full day or the half day is for some different folks that work an atypical schedule.
Yeah, and this also brings up, I'm just thinking about the impact of some of the investments we made over the last few years in the IT space, and Brian LaRue's role kind of transitioning to more project-based. You know, this is probably one of the things that may have been sitting there, you know, and just by increasing the bandwidth to get systems like this to improve HR efficiencies. It's great to see, so.
And thanks for calling out Brian.
Yeah.
Because he has been the keystone to this project and liaised between the town, the municipal side of things, and the HR team over here at the school. So it's been really great to work with him.
It's great to hear. You know, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
You asked my question, then you answered something completely different. But we're happy to have you here in Shrewsbury. And I'm thrilled that we have new technology, because that's freeing your team up, because you're a small little team. It's freeing you up to do other things that are not more important, but equally as important, but focusing elsewhere. And do you have a question just based off of the absence thing? So and I'm sure it hasn't come up yet, but if you didn't have any sick time left and you put in a request, does it hard stop you there, where a principal would get a call that you're putting in for time that you don't have? How does, I'm sure we
It will
haven't seen
flag
that
it.
yet.
If
It
you're
will
sick,
flag
you're
it.
sick, right?
Right.
But
If you don't have time, so if you are at zero balance.
it shows you in red. So when you log in the morning and you are about to, it shows you your balances. Maybe you have 3 personal days left and you have 0 sick days. It will notify, and those come straight to HR as well, so that we can, often when someone gets to that point, there's something else going on. So a member of the HR team can reach out to that employee and talk with them and help them determine if they need some other type of support or leave or something like that.
Okay.
Great question. Personal days, it's a hard stop though.
Right, okay, good.
That's really good.
Yeah, thank you. Also, yeah, welcome to Shrewsbury. I think it's a wonderful presentation, and then it looks like it's a wonderfully nice, smooth transition into the role. So appreciate that, and also all the hirings that have been done. I'm quite impressed with the internal fill rate and also retention rate overall. So that's a good way that we're building the right team, providing the right support and everything. So that's much appreciated. I don't have anything. I think I like the using the tools rather than doing the paperwork. That's a very, very smart investment for many reasons. So I'm glad to see it's working. So maybe we'll compare it maybe in a year or so, how effective it is and what sort of mitigations we have been able to achieve when we're using these tools. So let's keep us updated on those improvements and learnings
Will do.
as we move forward.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the report. It was very well done, and welcome to the district. We're very happy to have you. 77 individuals right off the bat since you
Yes.
joined us in May, right, I believe?
May.
So, yeah, that's great. I mean, what a good way to start to, to become accustomed to how we do things here. And it is a thorough process, as you know, so all the different steps that we have in place in the hirings. Thank you very much for highlighting all of the new initiatives with regard to technology. It's great that we can leverage these opportunities to become more efficient. So I appreciate you sharing all that information with us, and we look forward to future reports, maybe towards the end of the year, where you can share some more about how those things are being implemented. That'd be great.
That
Thank
sounds
you.
great. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you all very much.
Dr. Sawyer.
Thank you. It's been terrific to have Ms. Siddiqui on board, and she's a quick learner. She's had to be, and there's a lot. And she has excellent HR expertise, but this is her first role in a public school district, and I think that she's been very eager to learn, and certainly adapting very quickly, whether that's the regulations around licensure and making sure that we're onboarding people well, as you were referencing. We're certainly not all the way there yet, and I know that she's indicating this is something that's an ongoing project with the municipal side around some of the payroll connections to HR and whatnot, but we definitely have made strides, and I think that over time, we're definitely going to see some efficiencies as a result of that, as was mentioned earlier. And managing a change process is always tricky, especially when you're new to an organization. I appreciate the work that she's done along with her team. I think that, one of the things that I've noticed already in terms of our work with bringing people on board, one of the key roles that the executive director plays is supporting our district leaders, whether those are principals or central office administrators or directors or curriculum folks in the field who are doing hiring to really help them have a strong and successful process. We certainly, there's no doubt, the pools are not as deep as they were for all roles. They're particularly challenging in special education and world language. We've seen that on a national level as well, so that's not unique to Shrewsbury locally. But I know that Ms. Adig has already been an excellent partner for our leaders in terms of various searches and working through different issues. And then, of course, now working through, we have an employee base of over 1,000 people. There are a lot of leaves, whether those are parental leaves or because someone has an illness or there's a family emergency, whatever the situation might be. Working through that, making sure we're following our collective bargaining agreements and the way that we're approaching those things. And that's something that I know that Ms. Siddiqui already has been getting up to speed with and doing good work. So appreciate that greatly. I'm really pleased with the quality of the folks that we brought on board. As Ms. Siddiqui mentioned, she and I meet with every finalist. Ms. Belcito will join us if it's someone in the Student Services Special Education Department. We have some really passionate people who have some really excellent backgrounds who are excited to work in Shrewsbury. I've been my first cycle of visiting schools and meeting with principals, and they've been very pleased so far with the performance of our new folks who have come into the district. And we know that this is the highest leverage work that we do. The quality of the people who we bring on board when we have when there's a vacancy. It just makes a huge difference in the quality of what we can provide in classrooms to students and support for them and whatever the role might happen to be. So we're very proud of our personnel process. It's very rigorous, it's very thorough, but that's why we have a terrific staff that we do, and we're looking forward to supporting them as they go through this school year. So, but thank you to Ms. Siddiqui and to the HR team and payroll and all the work that they've done to get us off to a good start this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is Bullying Statistics Annual Report. The Bullying Prevention and Intervention Policy indicates that the superintendent shall report annually to the school committee regarding the frequency of bullying behaviors during the prior school year, and to update the committee regarding steps being taken in the schools to minimize such behaviors while promoting the continuous improvement of learning environments. And we've been provided the report, the annual bullying prevention report. So Dr. Sawyer?
Thank you. In terms of statistically, we can share with the community, and again, this report will be posted on our website tomorrow. Last year, we had a total of 72 allegations of bullying. Of those 72, 18 were found to qualify under the state regulations as to what that is. As I try to be clear every year, of those 72 allegations, most of them were regarding some kind of inappropriate behavior on the part of a student that was dealt with in an appropriate way, manner by the school administration. To qualify as bullying under the state law, it has to be a repeated situation. That's really the key differentiator, as well as meet other certain elements as far as the definition. That was, the number 18 was up from only 6 that qualified as bullying last year out of 64 allegations. More that qualified, but again, going from 64 to 72 allegations, not a big difference there. And again, with the exception of occasionally you get a report that turns out really not to be an issue. It might be a minor conflict between students. Most of the time, it's something that's serious enough to deal with in a disciplinary way. But whether it's repeated or not is what qualifies for bullying. That was we had 10 that qualified 3 years ago out of 38 allegations, and similar numbers in terms of the number of allegations and the number found to be bullying at the the elementary, middle, and high school level, and that's spelled out in your report. Most importantly, what is the work that we're doing to minimize this? Obviously, any case of bullying is something that is concerning to us. We don't want that to happen. We know with young people, and again, the context, of course, this is among 6,000 or so young people in our school district, so the numbers relative to that are very small, and we're proud of that. We have positive school cultures. We're continuing to work to strengthen those. Last year, the school committee did a lot of work to update the policy and plan for bullying and prevention intervention. All of our principals and assistant principals were provided updated training on the new plan with our legal counsel for the school district. They, I know, work really hard to, when there is an allegation, to make sure that it's being thoroughly investigated and vetted and a determination made. Strategically, we've had work that we've been doing under our strategic plan and district goals around the positive behavioral intervention and support system that was launched last year. This year will be the second year of implementation. That's been very successful so far, and there'll be a deeper implementation this year. Our collaborative problem solving, that's a program out of Mass General Hospital about how to work with difficult, challenging student behaviors in a way that's effective. All of our staff were trained on that last year, all of our professional staff. And then in terms of this year, we've adopted a social emotional learning program called Wayfinder, which so far the feedback has been very positive. This will be something that is providing, whether it's in the advisory periods at the Oak Middle School and Shrewsbury High School, during morning meeting times at the elementary and Sherwood programs. We think a very pro-social, proactive approach that helps develop the kinds of skills that hopefully can prevent bullying and help students address it if something does happen, because inevitably there are going to be times where there's difficult interpersonal interactions. So we'll continue to work on that as part of our 5-year strategic plan. And I think that we're seeing some traction with those pieces as well. So again, most important work we can do is to try to be as preventive as possible, deal with it swiftly and appropriately when we do get allegations that turn out to be a concern, and whether that's technically qualifies as bullying or it's just inappropriate behavior, we're committed to addressing it. We did upgrade the system for reporting, anonymous reporting of bullying. That's available on our website. It's posted to all of our students in grades 5 through 12 through Schoology. We did see some more self-reporting by students last year as a result of that when we implemented that about halfway through the year. Again, a few of those were just more like conflicts among students. We saw that for Sherwood in a few cases, but it was good we were made aware of them and were able to deal with them. And occasionally there's reports that don't pan out to be anything, but occasionally there are reports that turn out to be an issue, so we want to make sure and we continue to make our students aware of that opportunity as well. And it's also available on our website if there were a parent or a family that felt they needed to report something. And that can be anonymous or otherwise. We never discipline a student solely on the base of an anonymous report, but if that report turns into something that we can verify, then that can be something that we hold students accountable to. So we're continuing that work and be happy to answer any questions or hear any feedback the committee has at this time.
Thank you, Dr. Sawyer. Any comments?
I just want to, especially now that we have access for grades 5 through 12, having this form available in Schoology, I know that one of my middle schoolers, I asked her a little bit about it. She knew exactly where to go if there was a problem. And obviously, we don't like bad behavior. We don't want bullying or lesser behavior in the schools. But I am happy that even if kids are reporting something that doesn't end up qualifying as bullying, they're able to use this form and that they feel that they can. And they're identifying behaviors in the schools that make them uncomfortable, make their friends uncomfortable, whatever it may be. While I don't like to have a high number of allegations coming through, I do appreciate that the students have a see something, say something kind of attitude looking at this, because we do want to know about it. And if it's something more serious, it gets dealt with. And if it's something that's lesser, it still gets dealt with. So I appreciate having this available for, kids middle school and up, and also for families who may not know what to do, but the link's there. So I appreciate that we have this available, and that all of our schools are taking this seriously and looking at the variety of allegations that may be coming through.
Yeah, one very quick question. At the elementary level, I'm seeing if the numbers are right, then it's a slight increase year over year. Is that?
Yeah, we went from 2 years ago, we had 5 formal allegations of bullying, 2 that qualified as meeting the state standard for being defined that way. We had 8 in 3 the previous year, and then last year there were 14 allegations and 6 that qualified. So, among 3,500 students or so, it's a very small number, of course, but that's something that we would hope that stays in that range. If we see a trend over time where that gets higher, obviously that would be concerning. We've been talking since the return from the pandemic that we've seen an uptick in behaviors at the elementary level that are not as more of them than we have seen in previous times, which I think, and that's a phenomenon that we've seen across the state and the nation. Knowing that there was some socialization challenges during the pandemic, I think we're definitely seeing that. I've talked to a couple of elementary principals in my visits the last week or so that they're seeing less of that dysregulation among students this school year so far, and even last year generally on an overall basis. But we did see a slight uptick in the number of allegations and those that were deemed. Again, going from 3 to 6 in the context of the number of students we have, it's still a very, very small number. But 1 is too many. So
Right.
Obviously
Exactly.
we always want to deal with it and we prevent it as much as possible.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, hopefully with the new policy, and then also the opportunity to report it anonymously in multiple ways they can report it, and positive behavioral enforcement. All these things will enable us to minimize or even we don't want to see any numbers, right? To the best, but yeah, of course, there's several circumstances, but yeah. Thanks for thanks for this report. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Sawyer, for the report. And I appreciate your emphasis on the fact that each allegation is taken seriously and investigated thoroughly. And I think, continuing to promote positive school cultures where students feel like that they belong and are safe is the way that we can help prevent bullying. So thank you. Anything further?
No, thank you.
Okay. Right. The next item on our agenda is approval of minutes. The minutes from the school committee meeting held on September 10th and the school committee workshop held on September 15th were enclosed for our review. Did anyone have any changes or corrections?
No.
Okay, no? So they will be deemed accepted as distributed. We do need to go into executive session this evening, so I'm going to need a motion for A, the purpose of addressing General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 27A7, to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant and aid requirements. Purpose 7, open meeting law. General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 22F and G, for the purpose of reviewing, approving, and/or releasing executive session minutes. B, for the purpose of addressing General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect of the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares. Purpose 3, the Shrewsbury Education Association, Units A and/or B, the Shrewsbury Paraprofessional Association, and/or the Cafeteria Workers Association. C, for the purpose of addressing General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, or to conduct collective bargaining sessions or contract negotiations with non-union personnel, non-union clerical and support staff and/or administrators. Purpose 2. And D, for the purpose of addressing General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A7, to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant and aid requirements, federal and Massachusetts student record laws. Purpose 7, where the deliberation in an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the public body, and return to open session only for the purpose of adjourning for the evening. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
This requires a roll call vote. Mr. Wensky?
Aye.
Mr. Rifapour?
Aye.
Mr. Veligapudi?
Aye.
Myself, aye. Thank you and good night.